Hello, guys, I recently bought myself a PlayStation 4 Pro, and I would like to tell you, so to speak, the impressions of a newly minted console player. So, I'll start with the background. The only console in my whole life that I had, it was a good old dandy. They bought it for me when everyone else already had a Sega Dreamcast, and that's when I became an adult, an independent alpha male. I finally decided to buy this soap unit. Of course I knew that Igor was drowning on the curling iron, and a solid Kinzo. But I'm a fan of interactive kints. If it's done well, so it doesn't bother me. And the first full-length game that came under the distribution was Until Dawn. I must say right away, I am not a fan of the standards and trends of horror films. By type, and now, damn it, a huerga will fly out and scream. Look how scary it is to shit yourself. But, unfortunately, there is nothing to worry about, except for sudden sharp attacks popping up homunculi, like my cat makes on piss slippers, and there are no musical inserts here. In the process, the game gives the impression that the developers had a time plan for the sharp, brick sounds that they have to perform. It consists in the fact that every 5 minutes, we have to hit you in the ears with a loud stick of wind instruments, even if nothing happens, and a bird just flew by. Apparently, for the muscle tone of the half-footed player. This is ****, how annoying. Then I'll touch the script, so if you suddenly didn't play, put a like, and you can, in principle, turn it off, because there will be further spoilers. In general, it all starts with the fact that a group of students who look from 30 to 40 years old decided to hang out, as is usual with pendos in winter, in a hut, in the dense fuckers. Over one of the girls, they decided to play a joke in a very strange way. They persuade the most fashionable guy to seduce her, and then undress while hiding. They shoot her on camera, because it's fun, right? Real friends, after all. But the young lady turns out to be a nanny, a steshniash, and revealing the disguise of the Shinobinyadakniki does not appreciate this joke, goes on the run, undressed, in the cold and hides in the darkness of the forest. One, apparently, of the more adequate ones, tells all the jokers that they have gone and rushes after the steshniash in pursuit. As a result, for me personally, they both learned the power of gravity by falling off a cliff. Next, we are shown a session with a shrink in the first person, and I can say that the virtual actor plays so well that it really feels like he is wearing you out now. After that, we are moved to a year later, where all the same gang of unsuccessful prankers gather all in the same hut in order to honor the missing girlfriends. I quote, a party of porn stars. Apparently, they have their Pinot stain is so accepted, and excess. And here, the whole action begins. At first, a maniac in a clown mask with a machete begins to chase overaged schoolteachers, in the best traditions of the schizophrenic from the movie Halloween. Then, one of the vacationers in the midst of the cultists, is abducted through the window by some African, eyeing frog, from southern Sri Lanka, which looks like me in school years, and drags me into an elevator shaft, an abandoned mine. But, before that, of course, 2 hours, just staring out of the bushes, and throws smartphones out the window. Meanwhile, a maniac kidnaps 2 lovers of country holidays, and knocks out the third. When the latter wakes up, he finds those 2 chained to the trap. Allah, look, everything is like in the Saw. The voice says to him that he would choose which of them would go to the Saw, after one of them cuts with a saw, and releases the second. Next, we see how the boyfriend of the girl confiscated by the frog, slowly runs to free her. Personally, for me, he hit a branch 10 times, and did not have time to save his beloved. But on the other hand, I was able to ignite how the maniac leaves. Where do you think? Of course, in an abandoned, out-of-nowhere mental hospital. Well, and our brave guy, of course, goes after him because, as it seems to him, it was he who killed his beloved, and not an anorexic creature with the habits of a frog. The interracial union of lover survivors decide, since there is a fierce ***, then you need to get out somehow. Because of what, they will run to the lift, the only way to escape from the forest. But the lift does not work, because of what, they decide that, and it would not be bad to climb to the tower, where there is a walkie-talkie, and report for help. They climb the tower, report that they are stuck, and then suddenly, a zombie frog commits a diversion. And the tower falls straight into hell on the way to an abandoned mine. Because I have crooked hands, a Negro boy was hung on a hook, and a Chinese woman fell into the abyss. Other survivors are walking around the house at this time, and are looking for, attention, a ghost. In the course of the search, they find a secret room where every **** is going on, poltergeists, and other ghostly nishtiaks. Then they meet in the basement of the psychiatric hospital, where the maniac neutralizes everyone again, and then it turns out that the maniac, Tadada, is a previously sawn pot. Previously sawn with a saw, this is a povret. He says that he set it all up, and dismemberment, and ghosts. And all because, after the death of his sisters a year ago, he went head over heels, ate sweet bread, and began to build a plan of revenge against the goreprankers. The boys naturally tie him up and drag him to the barn. He denies that he is a frog. The boys do not believe him, hear the noise, run into the house. They meet there a fighter with frogs, armed with a flamethrower, who saved a Chinese woman. The frog specialist says that the golem-like creatures are, you see, wendigos. Evil spirits of the forest that inhabit the body of a person who has eaten a human. He says that he has been hunting them for many years. They are not taken, not bullets, not stilts, but only holy, orthodox fire can save all of us in general. They just need to be stupidly burned. There is no other way to kill them. In general, while they were talking, one of the survivors remembers that a bound-driven friend was left in the barn. In general, while they were talking, one of the survivors remembers that a bound-driven friend was left in the barn. The bespectacled man and the special frog hurry to save the little brother, and the rest are hiding in the basement. Naturally, there is no Patsa in place, and the specialist is killed as quickly as he appeared. The bespectacled man, like John Rambo, runs into the house, firing at the dry devils with a gun. Suddenly, the handsome man in the basement, the testosterone level jumps 10 times, and he suddenly, alone, goes through a mental hospital, to a nest of frogs, in order to save a friend who went, and take the key from the elevator from him. After a little thought, the remaining sorority, and the bespectacled man, decide that it's not good to sit alive, and you need to go help the handsome man, all together, after he left. Logic. As a result, I could not save the one who went, he was crushed by a frog's foot. And Handsome, and the others, were able to get home, blow up several homunculi in a neat way, to the rescue helicopter. The end. As a result, I see the light of developers like this. The main editor, listen, and let's make a game in the genre of teenage slasher. We will have a maniac like Jason. Screenwriter, yes, like Jason. Scriptwriter too, just like a Saw. Editor-in-chief, no, 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 it's too easy, but let's stuff the ghosts. And everyone's like, yeah. Screenwriter, and if it doesn't work? Editor-in-chief, if it doesn't work? Scriptwriter 2, then a mental hospital, invented, a mental hospital. Scriptwriter, yes, come on, editor-in-chief, and also, what would, for sure, let's do, Wendigo. And everyone's like, whoa. In general, you burn, dude. This, in general, will definitely come in, this is it, this is a sure thing. Anyway, in terms of graphon, the game is very good, I would even say beautiful, and with a claim to realism. I will not advise the game, because I've just retold it almost completely. But, in the game, as far as I know, there are options that everyone will survive, or no one will survive. You know, such a format of games would be suitable for the script of the movie, something that would be great when a group of survivors and you don't know who is a person and who is infected and this monster can attack you at any second. And I would have to guess, relying on my attentiveness during the game, this would be really great. And without Wendigo. In general, if you like this format of videos, write in the comments and like them, it's not so difficult to do them, and I always want to share my impressions.
Are you going to finish painting me, or are you not a bastard?
Everything, I'm running already, everything. I wish you all happiness, see you again. I did ILA subtitles, and Vlad Vrady finished them.